Aldrin, so the EFF looks set to go back to its old tactics for SONA.
Well, certainly, and remember that during last year's State of the Nation address, it was very jovial. It was one of the scenes that we haven't become used to since the presidency of former President Jacob Zuma after the EFF's election back in 2014. And now the EFF is going back to those tactics. What they are saying is that the president, this is President Cyril Ramaphosa, must call a press briefing before the end of January. And at that press briefing, he must explain his links to Bosasa and must also make public the contract that he's alluded to during an question and answering a session in Parliament, where he replied to Mmusi Maimane, the leader of the DA, about a 500,000 rand donation, which at the end turned out to be that it was a donation to his CR17 campaign. Remember back in 2017 in the running, when he was running to become president of the ANC. And just take a listen to what Julius Malema had to say.
In Parliament, unprovoked, no one asked him that question. He says, my son has got a contract with Bosasa. I've went through the contract, I've satisfied myself. He did this consultancy and all and all and all. No problem. Later on, Ramaphosa comes and says, I was talking about a wrong contract. That one is something else. This is what I was referring to. Remember the contract he spoke about. Both the son and Bosasa denied. They said there's no such a contract. Meaning the president lied in Parliament. Now Ramaphosa says, leave that one. I was not talking about that. I was talking about the donation in the foundation. Bosasa comes and says, which donation? We don't know what you are talking. Even the new explanation, it's a lie. President said he will pay back the money, 500,000 from Bosasa. Ferrer, through close proximity, asked for proof of payment or deposit slip with a bank stamp that shows he has paid back the money to Bosasa. It can't just be, we'll pay back the money and then it's quiet. ANC said it will pay back VBS money. Where is the proof of payment from the ANC? They said, yes, we received money from VBS. It's a corrupt money. We don't want it. We'll pay it back. Why is there no one asking the ANC, which has admitted that it has received the money? Where is the proof of payment? We want to circulate it for public to see that indeed you have paid back the money. So both Ramaphosa ANC has not paid back the VBS money. Ramaphosa has not paid back the so-called 500,000 Bosasa money back. That's fine. Now, let's go back to Ramaphosa answer in Parliament, where he says there is a contract and all that. Can the president release the contract of the son and Bosasa? Even if that he was answering a wrong question, now we're asking that question. Can the president produce a contract?
Aldrin, the party, of course, had a lot to say about Solim Simanga resigning. Tell us more.
Yeah, basically what they said is that they are rejecting the reasons that Solim Simanga has given for why he has resigned. Remember that Solim Simanga last week announced that he is resigning as the mayor of Tshwane, and the reasons that were given was that he wants to focus on his campaign to become the premier of Gauteng, of course on the DA ticket. The party is saying that that is not true, also taking into consideration what happened back in 2014, where you had Helen Zille, for instance. Well, when Helen Zille was the mayor of the city of Cape Town, she was allowed to be the mayor of the city of Cape Town while also campaigning to become the premier of the Western Cape. And they say based on that, they do not believe that the reasons that Solim Simanga has given are accurate. And just take a listen to this. And this is very important because it also paves the way for what will happen when the city of Tshwane's council finally sits and tries to replace Solim Simanga, who will be elected the mayor of the city of Tshwane.
The EFF notes that Solim Simanga resigns as the Tshwane mayor, stating as his reasons the need to focus exclusively on the election campaign for premiership of Gauteng. The reasons offered are unconvincing and therefore we do not accept this and dismiss them as frivolous. Their intent is to cover up a much deeper problem in the white-dominated DA caucus of the Tshwane Metro Council. If we are to accept these reasons, then it must mean that there are different rules for black people in the DA. This is because Helen Zille campaigned for the position of Premier of Western Cape while she held the positions of the Mayor of the City of Cape Town and DA National Leader. The EFF will closely monitor development in Tshwane, and when the time to elect a new mayor comes, we will announce our course of action.
That, of course, puts the DA in a very difficult position going forward, doesn't it, Aldrin?
Well, certainly, and this is the thing about the city of Tshwane, is that if the EFF says it will not be participating in the election of a new mayor, that will certainly mean that the municipality of Tshwane will remain a hung municipality, and eventually you will have the MEC for local government having to intervene, and it could force that municipality, or the metro at least, to go into a rerun of the elections. And not too sure whether the EFF wants to push it that far, because the ANC doesn't have enough numbers, which of course has more votes, and then you have the EFF, rather the DA on the other hand as well, which doesn't have enough numbers, which doesn't have the 50% +1 to run that municipality. They need help from the smaller parties, and one of those smaller parties is the EFF, and the EFF is holding that deciding vote about who will become the mayor of the city of Tshwane. And if the EFF says they will not be participating in the election of a mayor, what does this mean? Will we see Tshwane eventually going into a rerun of elections?
Oh, another year of exciting politics in South Africa. Thanks so much for that. Appreciate it. Our reporter, Aldrin Simpier.